It's been a long time since we've made a podcast, so thank you for joining me on this one. I really appreciate you for listening. I'm going to share some things that have been happening the last few months. I went through a very deep, dark period of depression and this anxiety that was just taking over my life. And the beginning of this year, 2017, I read a book that changed my life. The book was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. In this book, Tolle describes an experience that he goes through. And as he's reading it out, I'm listening to the audiobook. As he's reading it, I experience the same thing. I go through this trance-like state that somehow alters my consciousness and enables me to disassociate from mind, to at once see that I am not my mind. Rene Descartes once said, "I think, therefore I am." And this association we have with the ability to think and with consciousness has been a grave error for too long. Well, it wasn't long after that I had a Facebook friend. I don't think I'd really talked to him at all before this event, but he was not in a good frame of mind. He was suicidal, and he was basically telling his friends on Facebook that he was going. Well, that's interesting. So I've had the privilege several times to help people out of their suicidal states. And so I begged him to call me. And Ryan called me. I have his permission to share a little of his story. And we talk on the phone for a while, and then out of pure spontaneity, I ask him to sit down and I start walking him through what I guess you could call a meditation of sorts, though not strictly speaking. And it changed his life, and it changed mine. Because what I saw was the infancy of a technique that I now use that is becoming known as a presence session, where I'm able to take a person to a very, very deep point of relaxation where we can turn off the mind and enable a person to be at ease with themselves, to be present, to see that they are not their thoughts, and to look around the world, even if it is for just a brief moment before the mind comes flooding back, that they are not their thoughts. You have the ability to feel pain. You can pinch your arm, ouch, and you feel that. But you are not the pain, right? You are not the pain. You experience emotions, but you know that you're not the emotions. You know that you are not your emotions. And in fact, probably one of the first steps people come in this realization that you are not your mind is the ability to be self-aware of a person's own emotions. Usually, a person's emotions are easier to become aware of than their own thinker, than their own mind. So you have the ability to feel pain. You have the ability to experience emotions. But you also have the ability to think. You have the ability to think. It's an ability you have. It's not who you are. So in these present sessions that have developed, it's a 1 hour session that I take people through, we see people's lives completely transformed in an hour. And I see that the ongoing effects only increase, not decrease over time. People's lives have been radically transformed through something I've discovered rather accidentally. Somehow, I discovered a way to bring a person to a conscious state, which if you've read The Power of Now before and gone, oh yeah, that was an interesting book, and it was only interesting and not life-changing, probably because you haven't yet experienced that level of consciousness firsthand. And so to you, it's still just theory. For the vast majority of people, that's the case. I don't know why this has happened to me. I don't know why the universe, God, has chosen me to be a conduit for this, but it's what's going on, and I'm tracking with it, and I'm going to continue to do it. What you'll experience in a present session is the most profound sense of peace, calm, stillness that you've ever experienced in your life. And it's a one-off session. You don't need any more, or at least no one has needed more than one yet, because I teach you how to do it yourself and how to keep bringing yourself back to that state all the time, anytime you want. And it's like the burdens of the world just fall off your shoulders. It's like for the first time you can breathe. In fact, many people have described it as seeing for the first time. It's like they have woken up out of a daydream. That leads me into a good analogy, actually. And I'm not so sure this is just an analogy, but our minds are always active, and it's our minds, that thinker that we have, which would be located in our brain. It's that thinker that we have that enables us to dream at night. And in our dreams at night, we're kind of just dragged along through these dreams. We're just the slave observer. We don't have any control. We don't get to say what's going on. We're just kind of dragged through the mind's playtime. But then there are those special moments where it's as though you snap out of your body. And you snap out of your body, and all of a sudden, you become the observer of the dreamer. Now, we call these lucid dreams. And in a lucid dream, you can control your dream. You know you're awake within the dream. And you remember those because they're very profound. It's an amazing feeling. What if your mind that dreams at night doesn't turn off during the day as you suppose right now? As you're listening to this, and unless you're present in a conscious state right now, you're listening to this in the dream state. You're listening to this where the mind is controlling everything and taking everything in and processing and analyzing and judging everything that I'm saying right now. Yet at the same time, and I know because I've talked to a lot of people about this the last few months, you feel in the core of who you are right now, as I've been saying some of this stuff, a resonance, a recognition of, yeah, okay, right? And that's because there is a deeper part of you, the real you, the essence, the being, that spirit or soul, whatever words you want to use, that part of you that is the eternal consciousness. And in that state of consciousness, you're able to perceive things without necessarily having facts and data, this intuition. This ability to come to the correct conclusion without needing all of the dots to connect in between. Well, what if, going back to that dream state and those lucid dreams, what if that dream state actually continues through the day? And yes, you have more control over it because you have control of your body, but your whole worldview, everything you perceive, everything you take in, is being governed by this mind. By this mind. And what if you could snap out? What if you could pop out of the daydream and become lucid during the day? And how would that change your life? To be able to walk around the earth as a conscious, self-aware, present human being with control over your own thoughts, with control over your own thinker, no longer allowing the mind to control and run your life. No longer living with those moments where the mind just takes you over and it's just running a million miles an hour. And you get locked into some thought and you just keep processing it over and over and over and over again, and you cannot let go, and it causes anxiety and it causes depression and it drives you literally insane. When my car was stolen July 1st, 2015 in Seattle, I experienced this disassociation from mind. It was very real, but it didn't last, and I didn't know what was going on. And strangely enough, that led into this period of deepening existential depression. And I suffered anxiety so bad that I have Tiaki, my golden retriever. She is I can't show you on a podcast, but I've been showing people on some of the videos I've been uploading to Facebook. She is a service animal who was prescribed to me because of my anxiety. I had crippling anxiety. Social anxiety disorder, I just cannot even begin to tell you how severe it was. It was materially impacting my life in a very, very big way. I remember I was at my farm, my friend's farm in Boulder, Colorado, Mark Guttridge. If you're listening, Mark, hello. And I was at his farm, Olin Farms in Boulder, probably the best farmer in America. I really mean that. This guy is an agricultural innovator, just phenomenal. Google it, look at their Facebook page. Olin Farms, Ollin Farms. And Mark was having a farm dinner, and I was there. I just arrived with my friend who was visiting from Sydney, Australia. And we sit down. My friend Darren Lacey is from Sydney, Australia, is sitting directly opposite me. We're at these long tables. And he gets up to use the restroom, and he returns without me there. I couldn't handle it. I had to get up and leave. Talk about embarrassing. My anxiety was so crippling, so utterly crippling. Today, after learning how to be conscious, how to be present, learning how to turn the mind off, I don't suffer anxiety or depression in any way, shape, or form anymore. I was instantly cured. So it's now my endeavor to help as many other people as possible, and that is what I do every day now, every single day, taking people through my presence sessions to help a person become present in the here and now, to be free from the mind. We're going to talk more about this in future podcasts. I'm going to bring on guests that have been through a present session and will share with you what it has done for them. I really encourage you to do a presence session with me. I'm writing a book right now about this. And actually, I'm going to tell you the title of the book for the very first time. And yeah, I can't edit I don't edit these podcasts. I can edit these podcasts, but I don't. But I've said it now, so I'm going to tell you. So the name of the book, which is due to come out in November or earlier, is going to be called Don't Give Up, Surrender. And if you've ever suffered from any kind of angst, anxiety, depression in life, then you want to get this book. It's going to help you. I'm going to share my journey, and I'm going to show you how you can get out of your mind. It'll be in the book. But don't wait for the book to come out. That's a long way off. Book a present session with me now, and let's get the ball rolling. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm going to keep this, what are we, about 17 minutes almost here. I don't know when I'm going to do these podcasts. I will do them when I want to. I don't want to feel pressured to do them at a particular time. When I have something important to share, I'll release another one. But I do appreciate that you're subscribed to this podcast feed. And if you're listening to this on YouTube or Facebook, then please open up your podcatcher and just search for Israel Anderson Podcast and you'll find it. Have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next recording that I get around to doing. All right? Bye-bye.